Is record. Are you going for this? You going for this? You?
I was going to make my own intro up there.
Sorry, go on.
It's too late now. The moment's gone.
No, go on. Get it back.
I was going to go, welcome to the Food With Us podcast. Here are your hosts.
Who needs intro music?
Exactly. Welcome, everybody. Food With Us, episode 28. Can you believe it, man? I know I say this every week, but I can't believe we've been gone for 28 weeks.
I was going to say, mate, it's a number that I can't even count to anymore, but we got there after 10.
Man, it's brilliant, man. Absolutely love it. I do need to Google what episode, no Google, like going to the Spotify to make sure that I'm saying the right episode number. How are you, mate?
Good, good. Living the dream. How are you?
Living. I'm well, mate. I'm well. We were having a wee chat just for a couple of minutes beforehand, talking about how the wee man's settling in. Lots of sleepless nights, lots of very long days. Uh, I'm having the same, mate, but mine's is I for the last couple of nights, or 3 nights this week, for some reason, I keep allowing Bear to sleep in the bedways. And I think it's because, right, I'm getting in at night time. I'm fucking exhausted because obviously we're clearing the house out, getting everything ready, ripping all the floorboards up, doing dump runs, pulling cabinets off walls. Man, I punched a plasterboard wall the other day. It was fucking glorious. Um, so by the time I get home, I am absolutely shattered, right? After obviously training clients and stuff in the gym. I'm that tired that I'm lying in my bed and I am fucked. Like the last 2 nights, this is going to sound disgusting. I've not even brushed my teeth because I've not had the energy to go to the bathroom and brush my teeth. I've held a pee in because I can't go to the toilet, and Bear jumps up and cuddles. So I'm like that. Oh, because there's no chance I'm taking him back down the stair. And then at 3 in the morning or whatever, the pee needs to come out, right? So I'm having to force myself to go to the toilet, and then I'm coming back into the bed. Right, another couple of those kept brilliant. Nah, does it fuck happen because Bear is in my ear, fucking snoring the loudest. I'm surprised the neighbours are there awake as well. He snores that loud. So yeah, the last few nights I'm being the same as you. Maybe not quite on the night feeds or anything like that because Bear just sleeps. But I think that's the problem. Bear sleeping.
Yeah. Whose breath's worse, yours or Bears?
Oh, at the minute, mine, 100%.
Decent. That was
Aye.
my mind. Just had to get that out there.
Aye, and I mean it's horrible. I'm waking up in the morning feeling absolutely disgusting. See that way, like you're unclean and dirty, and oh, I'm running right to the toilet and brushing my teeth, and then my coffee tastes manky because I've got fucking minty toothpaste breath.
Oh man, like you get to that point though, like with sleep, where it's just like coffee doesn't even do what it's meant to do
Yeah,
anymore. It just you push the upper limit of it, and I was like, Jen and I were actually having a laugh because neither of us noticed. She was like, "I'm on my sixth coffee of the day," and I was like, "I've had a double this morning. I had a can of Monster. I had." Caffeine pouch. Yeah, I'm up there. Definitely 5 or 6. None of it's touching the sides. Like
that is wild, isn't it? You're just running on fucking fumes, man.
to be fair, last time I'd done that amount of caffeine was I think the first photo shoot I did were using caffeine as a fat burner. So I think I was on probably between 5 and 7 doses of caffeine a day. And that was a short-term strategy. That's not intelligent long-term, but like as a short-term strategy while doing that. And I remember getting to the point where I was like 7 in, and it's like this doesn't even do anything anymore. It's just like you get so used to the caffeine, whereas like it's just the tiredness at the moment.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I don't even know what normal is anymore. But do you know what I also hate? Because I feel like I'm becoming that person. It's like I hate when people constantly tell me how hard life is. And it's like, yeah, mate, but like you're given lemons, fucking make lemonade, or like your melons make melonade. Like it's these are circumstances you're given. Fucking deal with it. It's not going away. Like
Yeah.
until this wee guy is 18 years old. And do you know what? Jen wants multiple kids.
Right, divorce.
I'm thinking the intelligent game here is to get the snip, not tell her I got the snip, and then I get the practice. But like, be a good run for a couple of years anyway.
Oh my God. Should better not listen to this pod.
She fucking barely listens to me in lifetime. um,
Never mind, don't catch up.
um, but yeah, mate, I don't even remember what I was saying. It was gone. That's how tired.
It's all right, mate. I love it. This episode is going to be an absolute car crash in it.
I can't even remember. Recording. We are recording.
We're recording. Do you not remember my fancy intro?
Yeah, mate. So I've already compartmentalised that somewhere.
Right, I've got a question for you, and it is fitness related because usually we wait to about 45 minutes into the episode before we talk about anything fitness related.
Go on.
Um, in your opinion,
Ooh.
in your professional expert opinion,
Go on.
what do you think, or why do you think it gets harder to lose weight as we age, as we get older? Why do you think people that are, maybe mid to late 30s, getting into their 40s, struggle to lose weight a lot harder than they were, a lot harder than they do when they were like a teenager, early 20s?
Um, so as far as I'm aware, there's been no actual like studies that have
Mhm.
conclusively proved the mechanism behind what happens. But in my humble but probably hopefully accurate opinion, I reckon as you get older, like your hormones, first of all, they like downregulate in the sense that like your testosterone as a male, and to be fair, as a female, it gets lower. As a female, you've got menopause, perimenopause, you've got a lot of things that actually affect like how much muscle mass that you can hold, and energy levels. It's typically those two things that are the big drivers when it comes to like how many calories you burn in a day. And
Mhm.
what I mean by that is the more muscle mass that you have, the more calories you burn at rest because it has a weighted value. And then obviously the more energy, I say obviously, but the more energy you have, the more you do things like move around, you're animated, your willingness, like again on a sunny evening, like, oh, I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm just going to take the stairs or whatever. Whereas if you're shattered and you've not got the energy, you're more likely to take the escalator or
Mhm.
is it called an escalator? That's right, isn't it? That's not
Uh,
American,
uh,
is it?
Escalators are the moving stairs.
I thought that, mate. I thought I got very American there for a second. I'm just questioning
No,
everything
you're
in
right.
life right now. You asked me my name right now. But
No, escalator, elevator, lift.
yeah, mate, I said the other day, I think this is where it's come from. I said I'm going to get some gasoline, I think is what I said. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? But I wasn't meaning it in the context of like we're filling the car with petrol. I was like, I'm going to get some gasoline and burn it down. And like somebody went away in America, and I'm like, fuck off, mate. You're getting
Uh,
bumped too.
my God, make sure you pull your pants up before you go for your gasoline, Mr. American boy.
No, mate, it's a disaster. But you know, actually, just to round up the point, I think, yeah, there are things from an energy perspective and from from a hormonal perspective that can affect the ability for not ability, but the how much you move on a daily basis and how many calories you burn at rest. But outside of that, I can't think of much that would affect because also speaking to a lot of, I coach quite a lot of, I don't want to say older people, but people over the age of 40, 50, and I've got two people in their 60s. A lot of the time, I think attitude is a thing, and the more you give life to something, in the sense that if you believe, and I 100% believe this, if you believe that you're going to stop losing weight or things get more difficult, do you know what happens? Things get more fucking difficult. So I'm
Yeah,
not saying it's easy, but at the same time, there's nothing, there's not like you just stop doing something at a certain age. Like does that make sense?
aye, 100%. I agree with everything you are saying as well. So I was just thinking about it the other day. Like, I think a lot of it does come down to energy. Like when we are kids, when we're teenagers, when we are even in our early 20s, like we're always doing shit. Well, us growing up, I think this generation have got it a wee bit differently because of social media and everything's computerized, and a lot of kids are staying indoors now. But when we were growing up, we didn't have smartphones. We were always out fucking playing football from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. The energy we were burning was absolutely ridiculous. And as you get older, you just don't have time to do that. You have responsibilities. You stop moving quite a lot. So your metabolism isn't broken. It isn't fucked. It's just you moving less at the end of the day. Yes, hormones play a big part in that hormones play a massive part in that, especially for women. You know, with perimenopause, menopause, even postmenopausal, like that can be a bit of an issue as well. When it comes to losing that kind of stubborn fat. Um, but yeah, I think a lot of it does come down to just the willingness to actually move and the actual like it's like if you're a mum or a dad of two kids and you're running about, not even running about, but just like just being a parent all day. By the time it gets to night time, are you fuck want to go for a walk? Do
Yeah.
you fuck want to go to the gym and train? Do you hell want to go play football? Do you know what I mean? So your expenditure decreases, I think, as we get older. So it's not necessarily harder to lose weight to get older because the principles are still the exact same.
Yeah.
It's just your position in life that gets a wee bit more challenging, shall we say?
Yeah, actually, just to add to that as well, there is an equation. I can't remember what it is. I'll not get too fancy on it, but I think after the age of 30, you start to lose a certain percentage of muscle mass each year.
Yeah.
It's just the way.
40, is it no 40?
I don't think it's 40% of muscle mass.
No. Ages 40 and above.
Oh, I
So
don't.
if you are between the ages of 40 and above,
I
then you
was I was about to say I don't know. It depends on what issue of men's health that you read as to what the number is.
yeah,
But
true.
yeah, there is a certain percentage of muscle mass that you lose per year. And with that, that's obviously means that things, to an extent, aren't going to be as easy, but you can actually slow down that process massively by doing resistance training. So it's
Yes.
when it comes to having a conversation about making progress, the limiting factors to that, if I was to have a conversation with someone, age is one of the very lowest in terms of priority that I look at. Actually, the thing that would more likely hold you back rather than your age is your attitude. And I often find that somebody's attitude and preconceived ideas that they come in with that hold them back rather than their actual age.
100%. And it's never ever too late to start lifting weights. It's never too late to start looking after your health. It's never too late to lose a wee bit of body fat.
There's a boy at like back when I used to do powerlifting. I'm still part of all the groups and stuff just to make myself feel bad about myself because I can't lift heavy anymore. But like when I see there's a guy, he is 86 years old and he's deadlifting 240 kilos, and
My man.
I'm just like, that's outstanding. Like, he's genuinely like, it makes me feel honestly terrible about myself because I'm like, I'm in my 30s and can no longer lift 240 kilos. And then, secondly, to that, by the time I'm in my 80s, there's a good chance I'll probably be in a pub somewhere at that point, and that's all I'll be doing. But yeah,
Oh, 100%. 100% with Finn and his weigh-ins, and you'll be there with the son and the grand weigh-ins. It's got a big class in it.
do you know what? I've just realised there's no escape like from this. It's not like you can go, oh no, backies. I am trapped in this. This is a cry for help. I actually had this conversation. It wasn't with yourself. I had this conversation with somebody the other day, the other week. But the thing about actually getting older and you're talking about it is like hangovers. And it's like there is this idea that hangovers are harder when you get older. But I went into deep thought about this. I'm like, is it the fact that hangovers are actually rougher as you get older because, again, you're just getting older? Or is it because, like, when you're hungover when you're 17, there's no pressure in you fucking doing anything the next day? Like, realistically, you can hang about and play football, video games, sit in your bed, do whatever. A lot of the time you did go and do things
Mhm.
anyway because you had no responsibilities. But I'm like, from the moment I wake up, even on what's days off, I'm like, I've got a to-do list. The to-do list
Yeah.
never ends. And I'm like, you're just constantly, if you're not doing the to-do list, you're thinking about the to-do list. And usually thinking about it is harder than actually doing it as well. So there's constantly something being used energy-wise.
Mate, that's a very good point. Like back in the day, I could easily go out 3, 4 times a week and just do nothing the next day. It would be a stinking hangover, but I wouldn't feel the full effects of it because I had nothing to do. Do you
Mate,
know what I mean?
100%. And people are like, our mate Deek went to like he would stayed out till 3 in the morning and went to go and work in Morrison's the next day at 7 o'clock in the morning straight after a night out. But like people will go, I went straight to work. I'm like, yeah, but the job role that you work right now, the responsibilities are far more than stacking shelves. Like
Yeah.
you can't get away with being hungover, hiding in the back off like in the back office. It's like usually as you get older, your responsibilities get more. You can't get away with hiding if you need to, but even just having that as a wee safety net, I'm like, I don't actually know. And I'm sure there probably is a little bit to getting older if your body doesn't recover as quickly. But at the same time, I'm like, are they only feeling as bad when you get older because your responsibilities are far more? That's the question.
Right. And it might also be as well, like for me personally, like drinking now is kind of few and far between compared to what it used to be back in the day. So I think back in the day I probably built up some bit like some form of tolerance to it a wee bit and just know how to deal with it better. Whereas now, like if I go out, like I was out last Saturday and it took until maybe Wednesday to recover. If I can, by the way, baby Guinness shots, man, they are lethal.
The fact they don't actually have Guinness in them still baffles me.
I know, I know. Um, so yeah, like because it's so there's so much time now between kind of nights out essentially. It is feeling a lot harder to recover from, and that might just be because my tolerance is very, very low, like 2 pints and I'm pissed.
2 pints guy. To be fair, you're right on that. Like I remember at a point where you know the bottles of Miller, like the I
Piss
I,
water.
but yeah, mate. But like I drank 16 of them like in an evening. Like just I think there was like a big pack and counted 16. I was speaking like I'm speaking to you now. I went home, I made a fry up, I watched Match of the Day, I think it was, went to my bed and forgot I drank the night before when I woke up the next day. And I was just because I was so at the time, it was just so frequent in terms of my drinking. I was like, it
Hmm.
was every weekend and sometimes on a Thursday after five asides. Like, so I was just used to the frequency of it. I'm like, this is a slippery slope I'm on right now. I'm like, I can drink a 16 beers and still feel absolutely fine.
Fantastic, man. Honestly, fair play to anybody that can handle the hangovers these days because yeah, it fucks me up.
Yeah, I know we're still sticking in the same subject, and I'll move on in a moment. But there was a friend of a friend who apparently drinks, um, it's 12 cans a day every day, and that's just his thing. He drinks 12 cans. It's mad how people just quantify things as a thing, like that, and it's okay because that's your thing. We'll not bring out the alcoholism there, but I was doing the maths on that. And I'm like, 2 units per can, 12 cans, that's 24 units. Takes your body an hour to digest. This is the science part coming out here. Takes your body an hour to digest every unit. So you're doing 12 cans a day religiously, 24 units a day religiously. You've got alcohol in your system every single day, all the time, at least a unit. And to be fair, that's 12 cans. I'd imagine it's probably slightly more than that at times.
Hmm.
I'm like, boy's probably just constantly drunk. Like there's
Just
there's no
constantly pissed.
yeah, no hangover. He's literally just. But there is a scientific thing behind that in the sense that like addiction comes out of like as in like cravings and addiction. It's in your body craving something. So for a food perspective, it comes from the fact that you have food and then your blood sugars drop. I mean, your blood
Hmm.
sugars drop because of being so high, the drop is lower, which means that you crave something to bring you back up to being level again. That's why cravings typically starts if you're having a bit of a binging episode. It tends to be because you're chasing the fact that you don't want your body to drop because after it's digested, it starts to drop and you don't like that dropping feeling. Same with alcohol. So it's like, but not everybody has that same response. There's some people who, again, they don't have that. Whereas if you're
Hmm.
prone to being an alcoholic, think the highs and lows of it get a lot more pronounced. I think you can actually, I think it was Jordan Peterson that said if you go in to a bar and to be able to test it, if you get 3 shots of tequila and measure your heart rate, if your heart rate starts to increase after having the 3 shots of tequila, you're more prone to be an alky because your body sees it more as a like stimulant thing that rather
Ah,
than
no,
anything else. I was like, that's interesting. Never done it, but it's interesting.
nah, I don't plan on doing that anytime soon as well, to be honest.
No,
Um, just touching quickly on the having more kind of muscle mass burns more calories at rest. Do you know how many calories a pound of muscle, for example, burns? I think I see numbers behind this, but I don't know. I didn't do any research on it to know if it was true or not. It's probably something I should look into a wee bit
uh,
more.
when you hear it, it's not as much as what you think it would be,
Yeah.
but it's also when you have a cumulative amount, like you have more. So I think it's somewhere between 30 and 50 calories per, I think it's kilo of muscle rather than pound of muscle, but
Why? Right.
30 to 50 calories. But in saying that, so if me, right, okay, so for me to be really lean 10 years ago, I would have been, don't know, 73 kilos. Whereas to be the same level of leanness right now, I'd be 78 kilos. So I think it'd be safe to say that I've probably put on 5 kilos of muscle mass in 10 years, which
Yeah.
also sounds like a shite amount, but at the same time, for those 5 kilos over 10 years, there's, say I burn 50 calories per kilo. That's 250 calories extra per day that I can burn every day without having to do anything, which is the
Yeah.
equivalent of a 5K run. So when you think about it like that, essentially my body's now doing a 5K run more. I don't even know if I've just broke that down to bro science there, but it makes sense to me. So fuck everybody else.
Fucking preach it, man. Preach it. Um, right, mate. Do you want to talk about this is just a subjective topic, something that
I can see
it's
this one coming right off the cuff, mate. I can see this one. You're pulling this one out of nowhere.
no,
Go
I
on.
think it'll be interesting. Me and Shannon were having a talk about it last week. I think it would be good to get her on the podcast as well for to hear hers. But what do you want to talk about some pet peeves in the gym?
I'll let you start, mate. Go on.
Dicks that leave weights on machines and barbells, that's my biggest pet peeve, but I feel like that's a very obvious one. Especially somebody that's loaded up a barbell for a heavy deadlift and then just fucked off and left it.
It probably irks me more when somebody thinks they've put things together for a heavy deadlift, but it's actually a light deadlift. They've made lots of noises and then leave it.
Aye, aye, or people that load the bar up and then don't do a single rep, the ego lift, especially with bench.
Yeah,
That pisses me off. Like they load the barbell up with a bench or a squat and they half rep it.
yeah. No, I agree there. I think that's probably yeah. There's a lot of things that probably annoy me that don't annoy other people because I'm quite anal about these things. But see, when people don't put weights back in the correct places, so it's like
Yeah.
even you have at the bottom, the heaviest weights should be at the if we're talking about, I'm trying to even explain this because my wee brain's not working properly, but say if you imagine at the side of a squat rack, you've got the three different levels of where you put weight. So at the very top, you've kind of got chest height, and then you've got one at kind of groin height or hip height, and then one that's kind of shin height. The one at the bottom should always be the heaviest
Mm.
weights. You shouldn't be putting a heavy weight up at chest height because, like, me or you could lift that, but like you're talking somebody who's a 50 kilo female, like there's no chance that she's getting, well, to be fair, it's just harder for her to get a 20 kilo plate from head height and try and like there's a lot of strain involved there. So don't be doing that, please, thank you. And then the see people who just I'm going to on one hand we preach some it's very hard not to preach a message and then say the opposite here, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. So you know that way we're always like, oh, it's like nobody's judging you in the gym and it's like it's a safe place. Not no, fuck that. No, you're getting judged here for what I'm about to say. So when you're butchering an exercise in like intention, not intentionally, but see when you're butchering an exercise that has like what I mean by this is like a bicep curl in the squat rack, like or doing like I even want to say as far as like a bent over row in the squat rack or
Hmm.
something that just doesn't need to be done there, especially when the gym's got limited equipment. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just
Hmm.
it's there for people to be able to squat properly and deadlift properly. Just give it the respect it needs. But I don't always know if that's a person's fault, the gym's fault, or whose fault it is. It's just something that annoys me because it takes too much fucking time.
100%. That is a massive pet peeve.
Yeah, you've got me quite up now already.
Yes.
Uh, um,
Tired Kyle is angry Kyle.
people that hang about in groups in gyms, that annoys me.
Yes. I love like go for it. Train me a training partner. There's actually been research done showing that you actually perform better when there's somebody watching you. You push yourself a wee bit more, and especially if you get a training partner there to push you on, then you're obviously going to push yourself a wee bit more. But don't do it in groups of eight.
Yeah, like, yeah, it's usually guys all the time, and it's usually we guys all the time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just don't do it. And then if your gym's got fucking boxing gloves, it's only a matter of time before they grab the boxing gloves and
Oh.
have the worst shitey like running with each other that you've ever seen.
Man, I love this. This is great. I thought this was going to be a car crashing episode, but I'm just fucking lighting the fire under your bum right now, aren't I?
Mate, car crashes are all right from time to time. So yeah, but
Another one for me is unnecessary slamming of machine weights.
yeah, well, I would say unnecessary noise, full stop. Like, I just hate people that make sex noises when they're lifting. Like, there's absolutely no need for it. Like, I've I've seen some of the strongest people lift heavy weights and they're holding a lot of tension. Like, if they can hold 300 kilos in their hands without making a fucking sound, you
Hmm.
can do your 8 kilo bicep curls without making a sound. So fucking wind your neck in. Um, Joe, the one that annoys me more than anything is nonsensical rules in gyms. Now, I don't know if you get much of it over where you are, but see, when we're in a small town, so like there is only a limited amount of gyms that you can go to, but they all have a stupid fucking rule, like no chalk, or like you deadlifting, you can't take your shoes off, which I kind of just about can get, but even with that, like annoys me. And then like not again, you can make an argument for it, but like not be able to take photos or videos. I'm like,
Hmm.
I understand like any rules abused, then it becomes an issue. But like nobody's sitting making fucking YouTube videos in the gym. Like allow people to take a video for the form because there's a lot to be said about actually seeing how something looks versus how it felt. Like
Yeah,
um
100%, 100%. Maybe just kind of tripods. Like I see a tripod in the gym now, and it doesn't bother me. Like I think it's just a normal thing now, and people are recording themselves to form check and whatnot. As long as you're not posting it on fucking TikTok and like calling out people behind you for doing their own thing. Um,
I,
that's quite a toxic gym culture that's kind of on the up right now.
yeah, do you know what? Like I've come across this account, and the guy all he does is slam all our fitness coaches. And to be fair, some of them I'm like, yeah. To be fair, you can go. I can understand why he slammed them, but some of them I'm like, don't really see what they've done that's deserved a bit of backlash from the guy.
Hmm.
And I'm also the guy seems to have quite a bit of an ego, as they all do. Bodybuilder, clearly.
Who's the guy?
Something Italian, Welsh coach or something. I'll send you on his whatever. He's a bit confused at his own wherever he's coming from.
Aye.
Yeah, no, you know what? That way he must have came up on one of the Reels videos I watched, and now he just pops up all the time. And
Aye,
it's
aye.
like, it is getting to that point where I'm just like, I'm going to have to unfollow or block you. I don't know what I'm going to admit this, right? So I was on Facebook years ago, and that rule about never arguing with an idiot on the internet or somebody you disagree with, that rule hadn't come to fruition yet. So there's a guy used to play football with him years ago, but he was on one side of the Celtic Rangers division and I was on the other, and it was just a bit of a difference of opinions. And I think I used to get under his skin, so he used to just message me all the time. But then he'd put things up that would get under my skin. It's just like, you know, that way that somebody just puts up a refereeing decision and he's putting it on Facebook. And I'm just like, don't bite, Kyle, don't bite, don't bite. And then I'd find myself fucking biting every time. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm arguing with this guy quite a lot. I need to stop arguing with this guy. But it took me too long to block him. But then eventually I unfriended him, blocked him, whatever. Completely forgot about it. And then it was only the other week I was like, fuck, I've not seen his stuff in ages. So, oh yeah, I've blocked him or whatever. Like you probably should. And again, this is me talking about 10 years ago, Kyle, but you probably should. If anybody is causing you a wee bit aggro, block them. I don't tend to look at anybody's or look at whatever stuff that annoy me anymore.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's one way to deal with it, man. Just fucking get them out your life.
But the thing is, I think it's human nature though. Like, I or you, well, actually, do you want to go to that question? Do you use Twitter at all?
No.
No, so I don't use Twitter either. End of discussion. No, I don't. But I found recently that I've went on to Twitter or X, whatever the fuck you call it these days, and because I don't have any sort of background of anything, anytime that it's only just giving me stuff that's on a home feed, but it's obviously trying to tune into what I look at or whatever. But I'm finding myself like going on to like there's videos, for instance, it's like the what war is it? What's the most relevant war? It's fucking is it Palestine, whatever war that's going on. So I think I clicked on one video once, and like I see none of that in my day-to-day life, and I just looked at it and went, "All right, cool." Literally, that was my thoughts. I was like, "All right, cool," and then moved by it. And then before I know it, there was about 14 videos coming up on that, and then there was another
Mhm.
thing again, the Celtic Rangers thing. There's another 14 videos coming up on that, both sides, just people arguing, and I'm just like, this is like BBC News, but just on a hyper level. And I'm sitting there for 45 minutes in my morning, just absorbing all these things that are going to make no impact to my life. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need to, again, deleted to X Twitter because I'm like, I know I have it in me to just sit and binge all that. And
Yeah, yeah.
I'm probably going to get us, we might be dead at some of this. I'm probably going to get us cancelled here at this point, or at least certainly unfollowed. But what was I going to say? Our brains, I remember seeing something about that because it was about the issue of mental health, depression, anxiety. Why is it on the rise? There is an argument to say it's just been reported more, but the other argument was our brains are still very primitive in the sense that we're only really used to coping with immediate stresses to our life and try to get food, water. Essentially, we think we're better than what we are, but essentially, we are just programmed for reproducing and eating, like, in the occasional
Mhm.
bit of shitting. Like, that's pretty much what it is. But when it comes to these big scale wars, as in like your Ukraine war, Palestinian war, like the atrocities that are happening in the world, I genuinely pay no fucking heed to it. When people talk about it, I'm like, I get it. It's honking, it's terrible. But see, if I give that more energy, I'm going to end up fucking depressed as well. And I know it, I'll probably have a million people going, yeah, but if that's the attitude, then nothing's ever going to be done about it. I get that, but it's very much going, I need to deal with my own house right now. I've got a lot of shit going on. And if I turn all my energy towards that, I can't. So I don't tune into external factors that are going on. Like I genuinely will avoid that type of stuff. No, when people ask me about it, I'm like, I have no opinion. I don't know enough about it. I'm uneducated with it, and I'm okay with that because I don't need to know.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough, mate. It's essentially just, yeah, it's not like you say, you don't need to know, so why would you go and find out, if that makes sense?
yeah. I don't mean that to come across insensitive towards the situation because I know we are fucking stepping on eggshells everywhere, but at the same time, I'm like, there's so much that like we've all got our own problems in our life, and I actually find a lot of the people that like I work with who seem to be really struggling with their own life, it's almost like they channel that into all the things that are happening in the world that are
Hmm.
negative. And I'm like, there were the same people who were getting really upset about the Black Lives Matter thing, got really upset about the Ukraine thing, got really upset. And they are all things you can get upset with, and I understand that. But with that, I'm like, that's not solving your problems. You're putting your energy
Aye.
into that, if that makes sense.
Aye, aye. You're focusing your energy elsewhere when you should maybe be focusing it on helping yourself in your current situation.
Correct.
Yeah, I seen this mad thing online. Might have been yesterday or the day before. China. I don't know whereabouts in China, but they've started implementing this thing, where you can't just pretty much kind of just walk around your neighborhood and leave the neighborhood and come back to the neighborhood, and nobody can just come into the neighborhood. You need to go through like checkpoints to get into neighborhoods, like a scheme. You need to
Uh,
go through checkpoints. You need to sign in, give them the reason why you're going, and then
Springburn not a wee bit
Springburn.
of that.
Aye, aye. It's just a fucking holding pen. Springburn. Nearly used a Frankie Boyle joke there. A holding pen for the Jenny McKyle show.
Yes, here for it.
Um, so I like fuck, lost my train of thought there. Where I
China,
was going.
Golden Pen,
Aye,
Math.
so people that are leaving this neighborhood, that they're putting in facial recognition scanners, but they're not up yet. So it's like manual checkpoints now. And it's essentially like we turnstile, like a turnstile you get at, like a subway station, see the wee barrier things that spin.
Yeah.
Sign in, why are you in, who you here to see, how long you here for, bang, in you go, and then on your way out you need to sign out. Can you imagine if we lived in a fucking world like that? Like that is complete control of what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, essentially.
To be fair, it's a good one for the conspiracy theorists. That I like. I, I always love when they get rinsed and then all of a sudden there's something that happens, and I'm like, well, that's not going to help that theory, is it? But yeah, China's always. I know we're seeing a lot more of that with AI and stuff, but from what I've heard, China's always been a little bit. I've never been, hands up, never been. Don't really like. I have spoken to a few people that have been, but I've heard it's always been a little bit like that. I think if I listened to a player who played for like Shakhtar, Spartak, or something, a UK-based player on a podcast, might have been Peter Crouch's podcast, I can't remember, but they were saying that wherever they went, they had to pretty much sign in, do things. But I mean, this again, talking 10, 15 years ago, so.
Hmm.
I think they've always been a bit like that, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's we are getting to the point where like
It's
they
wild, isn't it?
what's there was a documentary on Netflix where wasn't it where it was like data now is the data in terms of its value. So your data is worth more than what oil is. So like everywhere, like your data is at premium. Everyone's wanting your data, so the more ways that they can collect data, use data. Because if you think about it, like from a marketing perspective, like
Hmm.
it's valuable to know your interests, your likes, how to sell things to you, who to target, demographics. Like I mean, data is just and now it's so easy to get it. Yeah, I don't know if I buy into the level of governments want to control us to the point where like I just don't really see how that benefits anybody long term. But
Aye.
yeah,
Just there's power in it. Power, money.
yeah, no, I don't disagree, but I think the potential of like having more power used against you or having more constraints against you, it's well, like it's the AI thing, isn't it? Like, if did you ever listen to the Elon Musk thing where he was talking about AI, where he was like the AI is developing at such a rate that like we're not going to be able to keep up with it. But AI is now self-aware in the sense that like AI knows that we are the biggest threat to AI. So AI will try and protect itself, and one of the ways it could try and protect itself is to wipe out humans. But we're not going to know about it, and the rate in which and it was talking about the way that potentially that AI can get rid of humans. And it's like it could potentially look at blocking out the sun or like doing these things, and it can do it really quickly. So it's like if it wants to get rid of us, it's going to get rid of us. And it's like we're now at a point where we can use AI, and the benefits are like they can start to identify like in humans that like cancers, and like they can look at doing all these things. We could possibly look at the point where AI could be the key for us living forever. Not that that's a thing that I think many people would want anyway. But he's like, there is a like on one hand you have this like it's a poison chalice. You have the potential for like some of the most groundbreaking stuff that can happen for us, but also on the other hand, it's the biggest threat to our existence is AI. How
Yeah.
much power you give it, and I'm like, I genuinely sat one of the mornings after listening to that before my breakfast, going, that's all fucked, isn't it? We're all fucked.
We're all fucked.
Yeah.
Um,
Me after saying that I don't take in any negativity news, me sitting there in the heights of depression with a can of Monster in my hand going, we're all fucked.
listening to Big Elon.
Yeah, we're all fucked.
Right, another pet peeve, gyms in the fucking bags in the gym. No gyms in the bag.
I'm assuming you're just meaning like a rucksack as opposed to like a bag of Coke.
Aye. I know bags of Coke. Coke comes better in a can.
No calories in
Aye,
Coke.
just dick kids that walk about with their fucking bags. There's lockers for your bags.
I'm going
Oh,
I'm
you're
going to
gonna
counter this
disagree. Yes.
slightly. Um, I agree with you. Commercial gyms do my head in. But I do think when you get to the point, like if you are a powerlifter, and again, I know it's a very separate entity of a sport, but if you've got knee sleeves, a belt, chalk, like, and you're there for a 4 hour session because you've got about 19 minutes rest time between each of your sets, and you need to have a few fucking squares bars or whatever on you, I'm only saying that because I got to the point where all I was doing at one point was powerlifting, and you were juggling all these things coming into the gym. I'm like, the only viable way to do this is with a bag. Like, and I remember thinking I've become everything I fucking hate. So I've seen it from both sides. Yes, I agree. I I would also like them to do bag checks to make sure that you've got a reason for having your bag as opposed to just carrying the bag about.
Well, I should have been clear. Context is key with this one. Dicks that carry bags about and it's sitting next to the fucking pec deck.
Yeah,
That sort of thing. See if you've got your lifting belt and your sleeves and whatever and your shoes and you're just on a platform or you're in the corner out the way, fucking go for it. Absolutely go for it. But no, I mean like guys that carry a full gym bag and then they take it to the pec deck and then it's at the lap pull down and then it's in the middle of the cable machine and then it's next to one of the benches in the free weights area.
I, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go on that point a wee bit more. See, when people leave their stuff in general beside
Aye,
a machine or a
aye,
piece of equipment, and they're not using it, but you go over and you go to start using it, and they're like, "Oh, I was using it."
aye.
That genuinely happened to me the other evening, where busy gym went over to one of the squat racks. It was the first time I'd been back in about 4 weeks as well, and I was like, I just want to get started. I seen there was a pair of knee sleeves and what looked like a big women's bottle, so I didn't know what to expect, but there was nobody in fucking sight of it, and I watched it for about 4 minutes before I went over. So I was looking about. It took about 2 minutes to actually set up my bar. Eventually, this wee guy waddles over, and it's like he doesn't even use words. He's just communicating grunts like "ooh, I'm ooh." Are you using that, mate? Like, "Ooh." I was like, still don't actually know what he said, but I'm assuming he was using it, and I'm like, just fucking left his stuff there for like, was your stuff using it for 6 minutes? Like,
Aye.
that's my nothing.
100%. That's people that like to superset and triset and all that, and then they leave wee bits of gear,
Oh,
keys,
ma-
phone,
man,
just taking up the machines.
there's a guy again being in a local gym, like being in a small town. You notice the same type of people, the same people that go into, even if it's a different gym. It's not like in Glasgow where you can just leave a gym and you never fucking see them again. It's like you can leave a gym, think you've got a good wee setup, and then some arsehole from the gym that you left in the first place because you left because that arsehole has now moved to your gym, and you're like, fuck me. So there's a guy, one of the gyms here, I call him the tornado, and he just fucking, that way he's in a sprint, but he's not sprinting on a treadmill, he's just sprinting between seven different exercises and doing them all terribly, but doing them as if like it's the last day of his fucking life. And he's like, he's doing them all, but it's like nobody's getting in the way of him. But it's like, it's really stupid as well in the sense that he's doing like, he's using barbells, he's doing like the incline barbell press, followed by like a flat barbell press, followed by like he's then doing like dips off the side of a squat rack and then pull-ups. And I'm like, you are using 4 different racks, you're using 3 different benches, and you're doing fucking nothing right as well. I'm all for people going like, oh yeah, just go to the gym and like get a bit done. Not you, not you.
You're going to the gym, getting fuck all done and getting in my way.
Yeah, it's one person that ruins it for everybody all the time. All the time.
What is it you call the people that chase tornadoes? Is it storm chasers or something like that?
Stormtrooper, fuck no, Stormtrooper, I don't know. It's
A stormtrooper. People like in America, it's because it's always Americans, they actually chase tornadoes,
of course they
essentially.
do. Mate, say no more. Americans chase tornadoes. Yes, I can.
Aye.
Yeah.
Well, apparently that's what you're doing in Dundalk, just chasing this guy about all the gyms. Fucking Kyle Storm Chaser.
Mate, when I opened up my own gym, I was like, on one hand, I need to make business, but on the other hand, I've got a list of people that wasn't allowed to join.
He was all seven in them.
So there's a reason I don't have that gym anymore.
Then I storm blow through and fucking destroy it. Shite. Oh man, I'm here all day. I'm here all day. I'm here
Get
all day with it.
get intro music on.
I'm the one with a da part and I'm not even a da.
Well, yeah, you're a data bear, so you're still.
Aye. A doggy da. Anything else you want to dive into? You want to touch on?
I did actually feel like I had something, but I can't remember what it was at this point, mate. But at the same time, you asked me my name, I can barely tell you what it is.
Aye.
I went on a rant about X, and I can't even remember what I said at this point. I'm going to have to listen back to this podcast at some point.
Aye, so am I, so I know what to call it.
Just get AI to do it for you.
Honest to God, man, we took a few left turns in this episode, that's for sure.
I did feel I had an underrated or overrated question to ask you, but I've completely forgot what I was going to ask.
Ah, see if you remember it right. Put it into the group chat and then keep it for next week.
I'm going to ask you two off the top of my head, though.
Right.
Cans of Monster or
What?
drinks? Underrated, overrated?
In this current day and age, the way they're getting abused, overrated.
Okay.
Just because I'll go into a wee bit more detail with that because people are drinking them for fashion. People are just buying a can of Monster because they see other people drinking a can of Monster. They don't understand the reason why they're drinking a can of Monster. For training purposes, very underrated, I would say. I think it gets shit on quite a lot. Although people seem to be using cans of Monster and caffeine in general, very, very wrong when it comes to training. Caffeine can take, 30 to 60 minutes to hit to get the full effect of it when people are cracking a can open on the treadmill. You're getting none of that. It's all placebo off the back of that. And do you know what? See if the placebo works, then it fucking works. But by the time you finish your session, you're going to have the endorphins. You're also going to have 200 milligrams of caffeine running through your veins. And if you're training later on in the day and at night time, that's no use for your sleep.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you've said there. I would just the biggest thing I'm actually going to say ever done from a biohacking point of view is stop drinking caffeine after 2 o'clock. It's a game.
Yeah.
Genuinely. One of the hardest things that you'll do, but this is coming from the guy who used to drink 7 cans of energy drink a day. Like just cut off caffeine at 2 o'clock.
You've helped me change that as well. So obviously since I started training with you, like the kind of caffeine cut off was a big one because it was really affecting my sleep. Don't get me wrong, like, I felt a massive difference when I first started doing it. Like I was so lethargic, so groggy, so tired. But I mean, it's just like caffeine's. What's the word I'm trying to look for? It's like coming off fags. It's like coming off alcohol. Like you're going to feel
It's a drug you'll have.
with withdrawals. See, I was going to say it's a drug, but then I was like, is it?
As
Or
a
is it
drug,
just
yeah. Yeah, as a drug, yeah.
That's how tired I am.
You need some caffeine, mate. You need some drugs.
Yeah, so yeah, you experience a wee bit of withdrawals, especially if it's something that you've been using and abusing for years. But see now, like if I really need a caffeine hit, if I've been up early, 3 o'clock is my cutoff, but it's always kind of 1, 2 o'clock. Sometimes I'll even have my last coffee at 12 o'clock midday.
Yeah, I think you're meant to be tired. Like this is one of the things I used to probably neglect is like I'd get to 4 or 5 o'clock and go, oh, I'm quite tired. I'll have more caffeine.
Hmm.
But then where's that energy coming from? You're as fake energy at the end of the day. And if you then like the reason I was having like no joke 5 to 7 doses of caffeine a day was because I was just stretching them right out throughout the day. And like, be honest, I probably, as much as I said otherwise at the start, and that's simply just by having a baby, but like, I probably only have like
Hmm.
two caffeine servings a day. And to be fair, energy drink wise, like as in a monster or anything like that, I probably have one every 4 or 5 days as opposed to having 4 or 5 a day. Like,
Yeah, it's massive improvement. What's your answer to that question?
uh, I would say underrated from the prospect of caffeine. If you get a coffee in a shop, albeit it digests slightly different than an energy drink, but if you get a coffee in a shop, you don't know how much caffeine's in it exactly. Simply because like it doesn't like the shots involved, the like even the way that coffee it's like it's put together. It's very difficult to actually get a caffeine reading. You could probably go to Starbucks and get the same like drink 3 times in a row, and if you tested the amount of caffeine in it, it could be wildly different. But for me, I just don't like subjectivity and things. I like to know objectively how much caffeine is in something or how much is in something. So for me, I think 160 milligrams of caffeine as a standard serving, I can get on board with. I know exactly what that is. We've all had a coffee even if you have one at 1 o'clock and it's fucking blew the brains off you, you're like, well, that's definitely got a bit of strength behind it. But like at the same time, you don't know how long you're gonna be fucking wired for, like on that. So I would say like positives in the sense that it's like caffeine's a proven fat burner, suppresses appetite, it blunts your perceived rate of exertion when it comes to exercise. They're all positives. The only negative and the only downside to caffeine is one of the most studied drugs. The only negative that they can find is its correlation with sleep quality. So if you do have a cut-off time, then you negate that issue. So yeah, that's all I'd say to that.
But yeah, sorry, were you going to say negatives or?
No, I was actually just going to say the next one, but go on.
I like when I said it was overrated, I was meaning for like teenagers that are even like adults and stuff as well, picking up a can of Monster because they feel like they need a drink.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is fucking ridiculous. It's so silly. Use it for the caffeine and the effects that you get off the back of the caffeine. Don't just pick up a can of Monster because you feel like you're thirsty.
Yeah, I mean that baffles me full stop.
Yeah.
Again, I always need something for the purpose of it. Like I'm not just drinking beer because I really like the taste of beer, which I don't actually mind. I'm drinking it because I want the effects of alcohol.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking caffeine, I want the effects of that. If it's nicotine, it's because you want the effects of nicotine.
Yes. Aye. Right. What's the next question? Then we can wrap it up.
It's twofold. So I was going to say protein bars, but I'm going to bring ready meals in as well. So pre-prepped meals and protein bars. So convenience meals, but not excluding protein bars. What do you think, overrated or underrated?
It could be both again. I think they are underrated in a sense that they are very good for convenience.
Yeah.
They are overrated in a sense that people are using them to replace full meals. So, if you're short for time, let's say you have a very busy job, and one day you're less short, you've run out of meal prep, you are 15-20 minutes for your lunch break, you could nip into Tesco and buy a gym kitchen meal and a protein bar. Boom, that's you sorted. Solid amount of protein. You're not guaranteed that the protein on the nutritional value of the pack is right, but it's a good ballpark figure. Roughly, you know how much is on it. Same with the protein bar, you're not guaranteed. But overrated in a sense that if you're just picking up a gym kitchen to have as your dinner because you cannot be arsed cooking, you're doing a massive disservice to yourself.
Yep. I would probably agree wholeheartedly. I think there's a lot of positivity in the sense that, like, it's now said this time and time again, it's the easiest and hardest time to get in shape. It's easiest because you can literally pick up foods that are ready to go for you, that are like you can get 0-calorie sauces, like protein shakes actually taste decent enough these days, protein bars taste decent enough these days. Realistically, there really shouldn't be much of an excuse for you saying that there's not options available to. With that as well, we also are living in a time where the calorie count in most foods are off the scale. You go out and like you get a fucking salad and it's 900 calories.
Yeah.
Like people can't comprehend how many calories are in like your average eating out dishes. So that, yeah, pros and cons to that, but I think when it comes to actually having meals that are good to go, I personally do use them on occasion, but I would say less than 20% of my meals in a week come from there. But at the same time, it's a good option to have, like, as in I'll always typically have in the fridge or freezer a few like I think you said what they called in Scotland kitchen meals.
Gym kitchen.
Gym kitchen. So I would have a few of the equivalent meals of that stuck in the fridge, just in case that I'm running short in time. For like Monday for me is like I'm on the laptop for 12 hours on a Monday. Like if I've not prepped my food on a Sunday, then like my option is like I spend my entire lunch break making food, or I just pop one of them in the microwave for 4 minutes and sorted, and I can take Rocky a walk. So I usually on a Monday would utilize that. And then like I'd have one or two spares just in case I'm running a bit short. But there are positives to it, but as you said, that doesn't really teach you anything at the end of the day. Like if it's going to be a long-term change, I wouldn't rely on them. Like I would look at making sure that you are still pushing yourself to learn things in the kitchen, pushing yourself to develop some form of like, don't even want to say cooking skills, but like realistically, like my cooking skills extend to using the microwave and the frying pan occasionally to throw a few things in. That there's nothing, you don't need to be fucking Jamie Oliver. Like
I'm the same, mate. I just use one wok. A wok, chicken in there. I buy frozen veg, so I bung that in the microwave once it's a wee bit hot. That goes in with the chicken. Fucking jobs are good 'un.
I'm probably going to regret a lot of what I've said today, but we're going to keep going. It annoys me when people tell me that they can't cook. I'm like, how difficult is it to use a fucking grill? Like, just it literally is taking it out the packet, firing it on the grill. It gives you instructions, 5 to 7 minutes each side. Do you know what you do? You put it in the grill, you turn it to what it says. For anybody listening who doesn't know how to use a grill, this would be fucking great for you, right? You turn it to what it says, temperature-wise. You give it, believe it or not, 5 to 7 minutes. Sometimes if you want to leave it a wee bit longer, just to be sure, you do that. Turn it over, 5 to 7 minutes. Give it a wee minute to cool down. Say to be really sure. You can cut it through, if it's meat, you can cut it through in the middle. Just make sure it's piping hot. Sweet. You've now passed level 1. Using the grill.
Level 1, standard grade home ekies.
Mate, all I learned in home ec was to make quiches, mate. And I've never made a quiche since. Like, I'm convinced that all we got in our school was just fucking eggs. Was just like they're a bit of egg. I don't know how you make a quiche. That's how fucked it is. We spent, I think, 2 years learning how to make quiches, and I still don't know how to make a quiche.
Brilliant. Brilliant. See if somebody gave you the instructions that you just gave them on how to cook for how to make quiches, you'd be banging at it. And you're determined to just get us cancelled so it frees up your Friday mornings, aren't you?
100%, mate. That was the mission. That was the mission statement today.
But I completely agree with what you're saying, though, with the whole cooking side of things. It's not difficult to learn. Like I say, I walk, use that wee kind of 1 calorie spray, scoosh 10, 15 sprays in, whatever. Chicken goes in. Don't turn it too high because you'll fucking burn it. Don't turn it too low because you'll have medium rare chicken. Yeah, but just try a few different things. You're not going to get it right first time, but that's the way you learn. Oh, didn't work out this time, so I'll try this time. I done that wrong that time, so I'll not do it this time.
Yeah. I agree. That's it. Gary for president again.
And you, mate. You for vice president.
Me for bed.
You for bed, mate. Aye. Both of us for bed, I think. Right, mate. Do you want to wrap it up there? How long have we gone for? About an hour?
That's about an hour. Yeah, we'll call that quits.
We'll call that quits, mate. Kyle, where can they find you?
Genuinely, I struggled with that. Kyle _biofitness1.
You sure?
And I'm not actually.
I'll link it anyway, as always.
I'm genuinely not, which is worrying me at the moment. Lack of sleep. But anyway, so what's yours?
At GMAC_health and fitness. And like I say, I will link both in the description and the show notes on Spotify and in the description on YouTube as well.
Super. Right. Speak to you later.
See you all next week.
Bye.